She's going to do an open treatment before we introduce Reverend Valentine. So she's going to come up here and lay some heavy stuff on us.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Reverend Tress, and it's wonderful to be here. It's an honor to be here. And I've been asked to do an opening treatment. So I would like you to close your eyes if you wish and just be right here, right now. And I ask you to use your imagination and see yourself as a giant, beautiful tree. And envision the tree. And as you look at it as you look at your life. And you see that it is strong, but there may be the odd branch that is broken, or there may be a few gnarls on the trunk. And the tree demonstrates your life history, your life experiences. And you realize that you are the power of that tree, you are the power of your life, and you realize that now is a moment. Just like in nature, the trees shed their leaves. It is time for you, if you wish, to shed any thoughts, just like the tree sheds its leaves. So envision yourself with the leaves, all different colors. And if there is anything in your life that may have caused you pain, or something you may be angry about, something with a lot of emotion, see the truth that you can let go and you can forgive. Only each of us have that power to let go and forgive. So whatever a memory may be, a thought may be, see it as a beautiful leaf that is let go, tossed into the wind, and flutters to the ground. There may even be some memories or things that you wish to forgive, that you want that wind to come up and just rip it out of the tree and blow it away as far as it can. So see that. See how you were released. So be here right now. Know that at any time you can envision yourself as that tree. You have the power to release. You can be anywhere with anyone and keep this in your mind's eye as a way to let go and forgive. And I ask that you, when you're ready, open your eyes. And know with me that I have an honor today, and that is to introduce Reverend Valentine Owen. And she is speaking about release and forgiveness. Reverend Valentine. Oh, and Dave, Hercules, remember you were going to, yeah, thank you.
That's okay.
David Stewart, what did you do?
Good morning, everyone. I'd really like to thank you for being here, and I want to thank the musicians. The songs you sang fit so appropriately for today. I don't know how you do that all the time, that you just figure out something that no matter who's somebody talking about, it just works. So thank you. And thanks for all the people who set things up so we can have this service. And thank you for all the people who brought food that we can share today. You see, your presence here makes this a spiritual home, a spiritual community. And if you're out there listening to us on the internet or the Facebook or whatever, I'd like to invite you to come and bring yourself here, because this is where we have that social interaction And this is where most of us, or some of us, need to have that social interaction because it helps us to stay healthy when we're with other people. So let's get on to the service. Some people are saying, quit talking, right? So today I would really like you to turn your hearts and your mind to a subject that touches the very core of all our spiritual journeys. We can open our heart and heal our minds and improve the quality of our life as we embrace today's sermon of release and forgiveness. Because this is an invitation to be able to forgive, to have one of the most profound and transformative experiences that we can have in our life. Forgiveness does that for us. And every one of us has had something happen in our past, or somebody has wronged us. So every one of us has something that we need to forgive. Maybe somebody lied to you, or maybe they just betrayed you. Things maybe have been stolen from you, or sometimes somebody has abandoned you. You feel rejected or neglected. Sometimes you may be harmed physically and emotionally, or both. Someone may have, broken a promise to you that they made, or they've let you down in some important way. There is a multitude of reasons and things that happen to us that we need to forgive. You see, the other thing sometimes is something that we did to ourselves. Did we do something that we carry guilt around or we feel shame about? You see, through this teaching, this profound teaching that gives us all the steps that we need to go through our life and to be able to forgive. I want to share something with you. When I was in my late 40s, or even before that, I was always a tough kid. And I thought being tough didn't matter. And so I lived my life that way till one day I got out of bed and I hit the floor. I couldn't walk anymore. They rushed me to the hospital and I had to have surgery so that I could walk. That was the time in my life because I had to recuperate. I go, what happened to me? Why did that happen? Because I was a very hard worker. I didn't worry about the things in the past. That was life. It just happened. So what the heck? But when I couldn't walk anymore, like I said, I had a lot of time to think. And that happens to many of us. Maybe not so emphatically as that, but things happen to us. We allow ourselves something to create that problem in our life that we will not forgive, and we suffer the consequences of that. See, we need to realize that there is an infinite intelligence, an absolute power, a power of unconditional love. And you see, that unconditional love is the essence of everything. And whether you call this power spirit, God, source, love, a higher power, or whatever name you have for it, it doesn't care and it doesn't matter. What matters is that we direct this power and we co-create with this power. And this power, this intelligence, responds to us in our consciousness. And our consciousness is the sum total of our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our emotions, and our opinions. Now think of that. It is the sum total of all the stuff that goes on in your mind. And those are the things that you have that go through your mind. Those thoughts, those feelings, that beliefs. And these things, they create your experience in life. And many of us have different thoughts and different opinions. And some of those thoughts are conflicting. They're conflicting with our emotions at times. But you see, spirit responds to our thoughts. And it responds to the most dominant thought that we have. Now, sometimes those dominant thoughts that we have are positive. And life just goes on and everything works for us. But often, those dominant thoughts that we have, without us even realizing it, are negative. And those negative thoughts attract negative experience into our life. It's those negative experiences that cause us to have unease in our life. And it's those negative thoughts that we're required, if we want a better life, to release. The deepest and most debilitating thoughts are those negative emotions. And some of those negative emotions are anger, and we all get angry at things that have happened to us. Guilt. We have guilt because of what we did. Shame. It could be because of what we did or what was done to us. Regret. It's how we treated someone. Revenge. That was mine. Mine was trying to get back at someone that hurt me. And many of us think if we have revenge, we're getting back at them. But in essence, we're really not. Because who we're really hurting is ourself. Because the way we think about life is what the energy that goes through us. And the other negative thought that we carry is resentment. We have resentment because of the way we feel that somebody wronged us or they didn't treat us fairly. So I want you to stop and think for a moment. Do you have any of these negative thoughts or emotions? You see, I'm sure all of us have had them at some time. Like I told you, I know I've had. I had to do some major forgiveness work to release these thoughts. And at times, I still have to do forgiveness work because I realize that sometimes my behavior, I get angry sometimes at the drop of a hat. And so then I think, what am I really angry about? Many of us, I got angry the other day when I was driving and somebody pulled out in front of me. And I swore at them. And I don't normally swear. So I knew I was still angry somewhere inside. They didn't hear me because they were in the other car. So you see, that's why it's important to forgive. And we're always going to have forgiveness work. Forgiveness is an ongoing concept if we want to improve the quality of our life. So if you want to clear up some of those negative thoughts or emotions that you have, make a list of the grievances you have that you think toward another or toward yourself. You still might be angry with your parents or your teachers or some boss that let you go or somebody that you are working with. Maybe something has been done to you that you just can't seem to get over. How do you treat yourself? Maybe you get upset with how you treat yourself and you get angry at yourself. So as you do this, when you make this list, take a look at what are the things that are holding you and that are letting you still stay in the past. See, you can't change what happened to you. Those thoughts are the things that are holding you a prisoner in your own mind. But you can change those thoughts. I want to go over some of those negative emotions. So think of anger for a moment. Is there still anger in your heart? This negative emotion can range from a bit angry outburst or to a total, violent, uncontrollable emotion. The anger we carry usually originates from a very early childhood incident or the injuries that we've had in early childhood. See, it becomes frozen. It becomes a feeling that stays inside of us, and we respond to it in an habitual way. And that way frustrates us, and then we get angry. Or if things aren't going the way we want them to go, we get angry. So what do you do when you get angry? Think of that. I used to throw things when I got angry until I hit somebody in the head with a bottle. That stopped me in my tracks. And I haven't thrown anything for over 40 years. That was a long time. But see, we all act in certain ways. I was kind of a bad kid, I guess. Well, thanks. See, another negative emotion that we carry. Gail can tell you these things, so she's known me for 60 years. And that is a long time. Negative emotions like grief and shame. Those are often very painful emotions that we carry because we feel awful about ourselves. We tend to push those feelings of guilt and shame down into that unconscious place, into our subconscious mind. But they kind of remain there and they just percolate. And they truly do affect our daily behavior. These subconscious feelings, they weigh us down and they weaken us. They destroy our consciousness and our confidence and our self-esteem. And at times, they make us feel like we need to be punished. Now think of that. When we feel guilty or ashamed, there's a part of us that sometimes feels that we need to be punished. Because you see, isn't that part of society? When somebody does something bad, they get punished. So we kind of go into that loop. And how do we punish ourselves? We punish ourselves by sometimes getting sick. We punish ourselves by sometimes not having enough finances, or not doing what we want, or living in an unhealthy situation, or even hurting ourselves. So think of that. If you feel that you're punishing yourself in some way, but I want to share one of the best ways of punishing, not just ourselves, but our parents. If we live not a good life, we think we're punishing our parents, but in essence, we're really punishing ourselves. So the other emotion that I want to touch upon is resentment. Resentment occurs when we believe we have been wronged by someone or in some way. Someone has done something to us that has wounded us. If we are in a state of resentment, we seem to imagine how we can get revenge on the person who hurt us. By focusing on the feeling of resentment, we fill our mind and body with negative feelings, and we experience more negativity in our life. Where there is resentment, there is blame. So if I resent something, I blame you. So then I become a victim. And I live in this victim mentality. And when I live in this victim mentality, I give away my power. And that's not a good place to be. So if you want to improve the quality of your life, we need to release and let go of those negative thoughts that we harbor in our mind and in our heart. We need to stop blaming things on others, and including ourselves. We need to stop thinking of the past events that happened in our life, and quit talking about those past events. Because when we talk about those past events, we increase the idea of being a victim. So that's why we need to get to a place where we are willing to release the negative emotions that we carry. And as we do this, our life improves. Our relationships improve. Our finances improve. Our health improves. And we go to a place of having peace of mind. You see, release and forgiveness, in its deepest sense, is a sacred act, a divine gesture that transcends human understanding. It intertwines us with the divine. When we release and forgive, we touch something sacred in ourselves, a grace that has the power to heal, to renew our mind and set us free from the pain that we carry. In our lives, each of us faces moments where forgiveness seems like an impossible journey. When we are deeply hurt or we feel betrayed or wounded, we seem to close off our heart. Yet it is in this very moment that the call for forgiveness becomes very critical. It's a choice we make to raise above the pain so that we can reclaim our joy and happiness in life. You may be thinking, what is the true essence of forgiveness? Is it merely letting go of the past, or is it something more profound? Well, forgiveness, in its truest form, is a journey of our heart. Like I said before, it begins with the decision to go to a place of willingness. A willingness to let go and release the right to hold on to that anger that we have, to hold on to that resentment that we may carry, to hold on to that revenge. It's a process that isn't easy, but it can transform every relationship that we have, including the relationship with ourselves. You see, forgiveness does not deny the pain or the wrong that was done to us or by us. Instead, it refuses to let the pain define us or our future. The journey of forgiveness is a path that we walk with a higher power, and we draw on that power as we walk with it. In this divine exchange, we discover love that has the power to dissolve our deepest hurts, the deepest hurts that we have experienced. But you see, sometimes people have forgiveness figured out backwards. They think that if I won't forgive someone for what they have done to me, I'm getting even with them. Well, that is so wrong. When we withhold forgiveness, we suffer. The guilty person sometimes doesn't even know. And sometimes they don't even care that they hurt us. So they're not suffering. Just think they might be somewhere sitting on an island somewhere, having fun, just carrying on with life. But we're carrying that pain. We're the ones that are suffering. And not only are we suffering, the people in our life, they're affected by our suffering. And so then we sometimes make them suffer too. See, that mental anguish that we have it because we are hanging on to the past and reliving that pain over and over again. You see, the past really is in the past. And I want you to understand, it can only come in today because you bring it into today with the thoughts that you have in your mind. Because it's not here today. It is in the past. So we have to let it be in the past. And if we don't release that past, we blame others for our failures and our disappointments in life. And like I said before, and a good example of this is when we blame our parents for not being there for us when we were young. So we decide not to forgive them. And in doing so, by not forgiving them, we destroy our own lives. Just so we can demonstrate to our parents what a lousy job they did of raising us. See, yes, our parents most likely will feel guilty. But who really is doing the lousy job of their life? It's us. And who is really suffering? It's the person who doesn't forgive. Once we realize that blaming others gets us nowhere, we are in a position to take some action and improve things. You see, blaming is an excuse to do nothing. It's to do nothing about the reality where we live in. It's an excuse not to take action. Blaming and feeling guilty are very destructive emotions. While we blame, we are avoiding the real issue. And the real issue is is that we are not doing anything about the problems that we just had in life. So we need to let that go. And you see, we are always in choice of how we live our life. We get to live the life that we want. And when we are in choice, we can stay upset about the past or we can let it go. And what happens when we decide not to forgive? We suffer physically, mentally, and spiritually. When people will not forgive, they usually suffer for many, many years. They have anger and resentment, and also a tremendous amount of pain in their life. Forgiveness is one of the experiences in life that cleanses our soul. It heals our mind. It strengthens us and gives us the freedom to take back our life and not be a victim anymore. When we choose to forgive, a marvelous principle comes into play. As we change, notice that, as we change, the other people around us change. As we change our attitude toward others, they begin to change their behavior toward us. It's like magic. You don't think that's possible, but it is. If we change, if we choose to see the way we see things, the things we see change right before us. Another amazing thing happens when we begin to change physically. Our appearance softens. We stand taller. Our eyes become brighter. There's even a sparkle in our eye when we can forgive. Our voice softens. We smile more. Our mental capacity improves. As we allow this spiritual journey to go through us, we improve every area of our life. When we live our life in such a way that we can let go of the resentment that we carry, our health improves. Our relationships improve. Our prosperity improves. Our creativity, our self-confidence. Also, the respect that we have for ourselves improves. So you see, forgiveness gives us many things, but it also gives many things to the people that we hold prisoners in our mind. The process of forgiveness starts in our own heart. It starts with our own forgiveness. When we forgive ourselves, it becomes easier for us to forgive someone else. When we can remove the sting of blame and shame from our own heart, we can offer that gift to someone else. If I can see my own experience and I see the innocence in myself, I can see the innocence in you. The reason we need self-forgiveness is to open our own heart so that we can be open to others. Because you see, only we can open our own heart. Nobody else can do this. Forgiveness comes to us from within us. It's from the inside of us. It's the only thing that we can do that allows us to let go of our past, the past that really hurts us. And you see, forgiveness is not conditional, nor can it be partial. Forgiveness is a wholehearted, whole being concept. Forgiveness can bring us release from the burdens that we carry. And it releases us from the pain that's in our mind and our heart. And you see, at times we try to bargain with forgiveness. We say, if that other person apologizes to me, and if they feel sorry, then I will forgive them. But that doesn't work. Because you see, forgiveness is unconditional. It's impartial. It takes us out of the past and it brings us into the present. Forgiveness is an ongoing process because deep inside of us, All of us have been wounded children that need to do some healing. Forgiveness leads us to self-acceptance so we can heal our wounds. And as we move through life, every situation that occurs, we have the opportunity to forgive, or we have the opportunity to be upset about it. And if we are upset about something, we stay stuck and live in resentment. If we choose forgiveness, we bless ourselves and we bless the others. The choice to forgive can be the hardest decision we will ever make. It is often the hardest choice if we feel we have been hurt very badly. No matter what has been done to you or what you have done, forgiveness can release us from that pain. So my prayer for you today is that you will be willing to make that healing choice of forgiveness. Use this day to reconnect with the spirit that you have inside. Go within yourself and listen to where spirit is trying to guide you. Trust in that wisdom. Trust the ideas. Trust that idea that this is still the work I need to do. And spirit will support you in every step of the way. I want to read to you the poem that I made, and it says, printed in 1994. So in 1994, I wrote this after I did some horrendous forgiveness work. The unforgiving mind is in chains, shackles of its own doing. The unforgiving mind roams in darkness, extinguishing its own light. The unforgiving mind is full of fears, condemning and torturing its very self. This mind is desperate, without the hope of release. It abides in pain and suffers in misery, as it roams in its self-created darkness, with self-imagined danger lurking everywhere. To change all this, open your heart and see. Forgiveness as the call for help, the journey to God, where you can spread your wings and soar. Forgiveness is the removal of madness from your mind and the death of your soul. Forgiveness is the release of all that you hold prisoner to guilt, so you can feel the freedom of your heart. By acknowledging God in all, you recognize Him in yourself. This gives you the means by which to remember, to turn toward the light of love that lets you grow, to a state of mind where no forgiveness is needed. For then you truly see the innocence and the essence of God in all. So, I also made copies of this poem. I hadn't seen this poem probably for 20 years or so, because when I was writing this sermon on forgiveness, I thought, you know what? A long time ago, I wrote a poem. I'm going to see if I can find it. So I did, and I made some copies for you, and I'm going to leave them out there. So what I'd like to do right now, if you're willing, so let's go to a place. Take and hold your heart and close your eyes, if so, and let us pray. Creator of all, as we conclude this time of reflection on our forgiveness, we turn to you with an open heart and a willing spirit. We seek your guidance, your strength, and your wisdom to take this journey of forgiveness. We need your divine strength to face the hurt, the anger, and the bitterness that at times clings to our heart. Grant us the courage to confront these emotions and the wisdom to change them and the grace to release the pain that is in them. As we go forth in life, let the spirit of forgiveness permeate every aspect of our lives. May forgiveness bring healing to where there is hurt, peace to where there is turmoil, and unity to where there is division. May forgiveness grant me the experience of unconditioned love for myself and all others, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I hope you take upon yourself the idea of releasing the pain by allowing yourself to go into that place of forgiveness. So I'll put the poem out there somewhere. So I'd like to call on Tress or someone else to